Hello, Buffalo Bills fans of the world. This is Buffalo Bills Football Pack coming at you as for another discussion about what the 2021 Buffalo Bills season will bring. Well, we talked yesterday about quarterbacks. Now we're going to talk about running back, the next position on the list of the next of going position by position of what I think the Bills will do this coming season. But before we do that, like or subscribe, please, because I love subscribers and I hope you follow the Bills content throughout this season because I think this season is going to be a great one. So here we go. Running back. I know last season was disappointing for the running game. I didn't think it was that bad, but I think the Bills need to be a little bit more consistent. They are a pass happy team, which means everything goes through Josh Allen. Now the thing that they need to do is to be a more fluid running team. They weren't that last season. When the Bills are up by 10 points in late in the fourth quarter, their running backs should be expected to grind out that clock and not get any opportunity for the other offense to do anything. That's the main idea for the running back in the Bills offense. They don't need a 20 carry running back. They don't. I think that the running backs should only get 10 to 15 carries and Josh Allen should do the rest. But they need to be more consistent in their running game. Right now, in my opinion, Josh Allen is their best running back, is their best weapon at running back. He's a quarterback, but he can run, as we all know, especially on those goal line quarterback sweeps. So that's how I see the running game. They need to be better at that this season so that the Bills can be really, really good and get to the Super Bowl. I think that's that next step for the Bills running game. So what do I think of the Bills players, the Bills running backs? Well, Devin Singletary is the first person I'm going to talk about. I think he needs a big year this year. I don't think he's done enough over the past 2 seasons to warrant anybody to think that he could be a feature back. Now, he's had some flashes. He had some good games, but at the same time, he hasn't had that burst that he showed in college. Last season he only had 687 yards and just 2 touchdowns. 2. He needs to do more, and the Bills need to involve him more in the offense so that they can be successful next season. And then you have Zach Moss. In my opinion, Zach Moss looked a lot better down the stretch than Devin Singletary. He had 481 yards and 4 touchdowns. So it's really a Devin Singletary and Zach Moss ratio is what we are going to see this season. And I liked him. He hit the holes really hard. He was powerful. He carried literally players on his back. He was a good goal line back, and I think he'll do more next season. So, you'll be on the lookout for Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, and that combination to grow this season. But, the person that needs to be better is definitely Devin Singletary. And then Matt Breida was a free agent that they signed this season, free agent running back, and he has speed. He has great speed, and I think the Bills will involve him. He might be a TJ Yeldon where they might keep him inactive for a couple games, but I think he'll be active for some. It'll depend on Taiwan Jones, who never sees action on offense, but he's a great special teamer. They will definitely keep him. So, I think it's Matt Breida who will be mostly inactive, but will provide some opportunity for playing time, especially if Devin Singletary or Zach Moss gets hurt. And then Tyrone Jones will be a special teamer. He's a great special teamer. He does help them on special teams. And then the next is Antonio Williams and Christian Wade. Antonio Williams was the running back that performed really well in the Dolphins game last season. He had 2 touchdowns, and I was impressed by him. I'm really actually anxious to see him play this preseason and see if he can make a roster spot. He is on that bubble, and I don't expect him to make the roster, but I was impressed by him last season in the Miami game, the last game of the year. So we will see how he does. He hit the hole well. He could make guys miss. So we will see what he does this season. But he is definitely in the outside looking in. And then Christian Wade was their back who came from England. He played rugby. And of course, everyone remembers that long run a couple of years ago in the preseason. And he hasn't done much, obviously, because he's been on the practice squad the past couple of years. He's been exempt from a roster spot, so he hasn't really had an opportunity to shine. And I think they just had a extension to that exception of a roster spot, so he could still be on the team but not be given a roster spot. And we'll see how he does. If he shows up in preseason and does really well, then the Bills might have a decision to make. But we'll see with Christian Wade. I know he's a fan favorite because he came from England. He was rugby, and now he's on a professional football team. But we will see. So that's my predictions of what the Bills will do running back wise. I really think of who will make the roster is Devin Singletary, Zach Moss, Matt Breida, and Taiwan Jones. That's the people I think the Bills will not cut this season, and that will make the roster. But I think my final thoughts about the Bills running game is they need to be better. They need to be more consistent. They don't need a 10 to 15 a 20 carry back, but they do need a 10 to 15 carry back, and that back that needs to grind out the clock when the Bills are up by 10, because this offense will score points. They will score points. They will outscore teams, but they will get into a lot of close games too, and they need that running game to provide that help. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video as we talk about the receivers. The Bills have one of the best receiving games in the NFL. So I will see you next time. Go Bills!